I'm Scott.
I'm Brian.
We're Schwartz on Sports.
We're coming to you 3 days before the draft, and if you're a Browns fan, it's nothing but anxiety because you have no idea what's going to happen.
And it's our Super Bowl. Get excited, people.
Indeed. And we have our final mock today, which we said we'd come out with. This is what we think is going to happen, not what everyone,
Yeah. This isn't necessarily what we would do, it's what we think the teams will do.
And then after that, we're going to have a 7-round mock for the Browns. And then after that, we'll just cover some stuff.
Housekeeping.
Like, we signed a kicker.
Yay. On the clock, first pick, Kansas City. We haven't taken
Eric Fisher.
We can
Central
go either
Michigan.
way here because a lot of people haven't taken Jokel. We think Fisher's a little bit better, so we're going to have the Chiefs take
Not
Fisher.
only is he a little better, he will be a lot better.
He's got a lot more potential than Jokel.
And then after that, number 2, we got Jacksonville taking Deion Jordan.
My boy! I wanted
Oregon.
Jordan. I want Deion Jordan.
From Oregon.
He's going to be a stud.
I was hyped on him before you,
He's still going to be a
but
stud.
that's okay. And then that takes us to Oakland,
The Raiders.
taking the Sheriff.
Sheriff Floyd.
And then that brings us to Philly, getting a leftover, Luke Jokel.
I'll take the leftover.
And then that takes us down to Detroit at number 5, taking your boy.
Ziggy Ansah. Looks like he's 50 like Greg Oden, but hey, he's supposed to be 24.
And then that brings us to number 6, the Cleveland Browns pick, and they will select Leon Sandcastle.
Trade. What?
Leon
Sandcastle. Oh! Leon Sandcastle is going to be a stud.
And the Chargers traded up for him.
Wait a minute, he's not real.
Oh, Jesus.
Son of a-
Oh, my God. He was so awesome. He reminded me of Deion Sanders.
I know. The Browns
Oh.
are actually going to trade with San Diego.
To take Lane Johnson, Oklahoma, the last stud offensive tackle.
Now, to just do a little housekeeping with this pick, we think that if D. Milner's there, they may pass on him because he's kind of overrated. And if Deion Jordan's not there, they trade.
I just don't think he's a good fit,
Milner?
personally. Milner. For our defense.
Eh.
You're going to have to be awesome and man, like Hayden is.
And he's not.
He's more of a bump,
Yeah.
but once you bump, they're gone.
The guy's his own corner. He's not a man-to-man
So-
corner, so...
He doesn't fit our...
If the Browns take him, I'll be all right because we need a corner.
Yeah, I won't
but
be
don't
pissed.
expect the world.
He'll still be better than what we have.
Yeah.
And then that drops us down to the 11th pick, which was San Diego had.
Right,
And we'll get to that later.
that.
And then at number 7, since all the tackles are gone, Arizona's going to sit there and take
The best guard in the draft, according to some people, but not us.
Chance Warmack.
Bama.
Bama.
And then we got the interesting, stupid pick that's going to probably happen. Number 8, Buffalo.
And like I told you before the show, they think someone's going to trade with him, but everyone under him's just laughing and
Right.
saying, go ahead and take him 8 more on.
They signed Doug Marrone, who was the head coach of Syracuse. They're probably going to draft Ryan Nassib, who is or was the quarterback.
Well, they
of
said it came
Syracuse.
down between him and Barkley, but
Right.
you know where it's going to go.
They're going to take Nassib because he was coached by the coach. So it's pretty no-brainer there. They're going to do the same thing that the Dolphins did last year.
And that drops you down to the team with no defense or offense, and a coach that's probably going to get fired.
On paper, they're horrible.
The New York Jets will select
Kiki Mingo. Barkevius.
from LSU. He's got a lot of talent, but he needs to add some weight.
Although, I mean, to be fair, if you're a sports fan and your team drafts Barkevius, would it not be fun to get drunk and go, Barkevius! Or Kiki! Yeah! Anyway, that's their pick.
And that takes us down to the number 10 pick. And Tennessee is in love with D. Milner.
And he falls
They
in
ne-
their lap.
Up till, 2 days ago, they would have never had a shot at this
Nope.
guy.
This dude may fall to 10. He's definitely a top 10 corner.
If he goes to
based on
10,
talent.
if he goes to 10, it's a lock.
Yeah.
He's going to go to Tennessee.
Number 11 is where we will pick
The
Cleveland
Browns select the best safety in the class
Kenny Vaccaro.
from Texas.
Dude will be a stud.
He can do it all. He's TJ Ward, but can cover, basically.
This is what we need.
And that brings us to Miami. At number
Miami
12.
is doing backflips because, in our opinion, the best guard in the draft falls in their lap.
John Cooper from North Carolina. The dude is amazing. And then that brings us to the 13th pick.
The
That
Jets traded Darrell Revis, whatever the hell his name is, to the Bucks for number 13 overall.
and they get the next best cornerback, in our opinion, Xavier Rhodes.
Florida State.
And then that drops us down to Carolina, who's also doing backflips and front flips.
This
Because-
dude that they're going to pick was supposed to go as the top overall pick for pretty much the last 6 months until he had a heart problem.
which wasn't really a problem, but that's beside the point. But they're going to take Star.
Ludalele.
And then New Orleans is happy because the guy that they're selecting was supposed to go above them. And that is
Sheldon Richardson.
the next best D tackle. And that brings us to St. Louis, who's been trying out DeAndre Hopkins.
I think it's a smokescreen. He is a good receiver. But if this kid's on the board with the first of their 2 first-round picks they're going to take,
Tavon Austin.
not necessarily the best receiver in the draft, but definitely the most dynamic.
Definitely the most dynamic. I'd take a Percy Harvin. That's all I'm saying.
This brings us to Schittsburg. They're going to be taking the biggest non-surprise of the draft.
Jarvis Jones, Georgia.
They need a linebacker so bad. This kid is he's a good player.
He's a good player. They need a linebacker so bad they're taking one without a spine. But that's about who cares?
The boys are on the clock.
And they will select the safety from LSU, Eric Reed.
He's pretty good.
Pretty good.
I was drinking my beer.
And then the New York Giants are on the clock.
And they take the best right tackle in the draft, DJ Fluker
From Bama. And then that brings us to Chicago.
Got to replace Urlacher.
Big smile on his face, Mr. Tressman over there. Alec Ogletree.
Would have been a lot higher if not for off-the-field issues. Pretty much of a steal if he gets all his shit in order.
He kind of reminds me of Rolando McClain.
Didn't the Ravens just sign him?
Yeah, didn't he just get in trouble?
Yeah.
All right, anyways, that brings us down to
The Bungles.
With their first pick, they select the Chomper, Matt Elam. And that brings us down.
Well, this is kind of funny because this is the second pick St. Louis has, and all of a sudden, hello, Manti Te'o, this is your dead girlfriend. You're going to the Rams.
Oh, stop messing with me.
No, I'm
You're
serious.
lying.
You're going to the Rams.
You're lying.
Yeah, I am. The Rams are going to take
Manti Te'o. And then that brings us to Minnesota.
Gonna draft big old Sylvester Williams
From the UNC.
And then the Colts, in need of defensive line help, are gonna take
Tom
Jones. The Vikings are back on the clock.
From UCLA. And then Minnesota will select, in my opinion, the best cornerback.
The best cover corner in the
best,
draft.
yes, the best cover corner, which would suit our defense awesomely. Desmond Trufant.
And then we have the Green Bay Packers on the clock. We got them taking 2 different things here. You go first.
I got them taking Eddie Lacy because
they need a running back bad.
Because they need a running back. He's the most physical specimen at the position.
He's the best running back in the draft, period.
And they need to get more physical because their schedule is just insane.
I think what's going to happen is because the number 1 rated receiver, even though he's dumb as hell, is still on the board in Cordero Patterson. And they lost what's-his-face.
But you have no argument because you just said he's dumb as hell.
He's dumb as hell, but he's the best overall receiver according to some people. But Aaron Rodgers will keep him in line. I think they could take Cordero Patterson here. With the thought being that they'll get Giovanni Bernard in the second round to be the running
He's our 6th best wide receiver.
but because he's stupid.
But everyone else is number 1. I don't know. Whatever.
Everybody else has him ranked highly. If you would have watched him in the combine doing his drills, he couldn't do them. He's just dumb.
And then we have Houston taking one of my boys, DeAndre Hopkins from Clemson.
Yep, he's a good kid. And then Denver's on the clock. They lost Elvis Dumerville. This is going to be their replacement.
Bjorn Warner.
And then the Patriots are on the clock. We got them taking a pretty good.
This is recently. He's a corner from Boise. They just worked him out 2 days ago. So obviously something's cooking. And I'm going with Jamar Taylor, Boise State corner.
The Falcons are on the clock next, and they're taking this kid that's been rising very rapidly since his pro day.
Here comes the tank.
Tank Carradine from Florida State.
And that brings us to San Francisco, who Atlanta and San Francisco are probably trading up. But we can't.
There's a rumor San Francisco wants to move up to the middle of the round.
And Atlanta, but we can't project who it's going to be with. So we're just going to go with John
Cyprien.
And that brings us to Baltimore, which we have an disagreement on. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I have Baltimore taking Keenan Allen.
He's probably the most NFL-ready receiver.
And I said, since Ozzie Newsome, he always picks a for sure thing in the first round, and Keenan Allen is that thing.
Flacco was a sure thing?
Yeah.
No.
It was to him. He
was right. I don't know. He lucked out on Flacco.
He wants to take like the 5th best safety.
They need a safety or they need a linebacker. I could easily see them taking Kevin Minter right here to replace Ray Lewis. We'll see.
Well, they might take a linebacker there since he's going to end up in jail.
That's what I'm saying. So now we're going to transition from the entire league to your team and our team, the Cleveland Browns. And I want to start out by talking about what we think they need the most right now. And obviously the biggest need is probably cornerback, I would say. Obviously,
I'd say it goes corner, safety, guard.
We need a guard bad too. Laveau sucks.
And we need someone to push Wheaton too. I mean,
Yeah.
Campbell's not going to do it.
We definitely don't. Campbell and Whedon definitely aren't the overall answer for the Browns. I mean, that's a.
But there's people in this draft that can sit 1 year and come in.
If we had a second round pick, I would burn it on EJ Manuel like that. But we don't.
We think he's going to be gone. I'm just telling you that right now. But we'll start off with.
Now, keep in mind, this is going to go if we do trade the number 6 overall pick
To San Diego. This is what San Diego's pick.
So as we said, the number 1 pick, if we take the trade and get number 13, we'll take the best safety in the draft, Kenny Vaccaro.
All right, and this is where some people might agree, some people might disagree.
But before you announce the pick, if we do trade, we'll end up probably getting a second round pick back. Or we may get another third, I don't know. But if we get a second round pick back...
It should be a second round pick.
Should be.
It should be, because it's 5 spots in the top 10. So if they do it, we're going to take one of my favorite quarterbacks.
Matt Barkley.
I think if you give him a year, I'm telling you, he's going to be something.
I say you give him a year, you give him a wasted pick, but whatever.
We already wasted a 22 pick on Wheaton. And then that brings us to the third round. Number 68 pick.
Bleedy
Ray Wilson from UConn. He's a
really big cornerback.
He's 6'2", 190. He's physical.
Reminds us of Richard Sherman.
Which, he's bigger than Milner.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean...
He's 6'2", 190.
You're getting the same thing in what you get in Milner.
Yeah.
That's if he hangs around. It's going to be close. And then in the fourth round, we have Mr.
Am I gay or am I not gay? Nick Casa.
I think I'm going to tell the NFL about this. Nick Casa, Colorado. And then our boy
from Kent State
in the fifth round with our first pick in the 5th round, Brian Winters.
Good, solid guard. You give it a 5th round, it's probably a steal.
Offensive guard from
Kent State.
And then with our last 5th round pick, we have the Browns selecting A.J. Klein, inside linebacker, Iowa State.
Cyclone.
And then one of my favorite people we have taken in the 6th round. Something we need, wide receiver. He could work in the slot or outside. Great hands, Connor Vernon, Duke.
And then in our second, it's our second 6th round pick.
And that's our 7th.
Whatever.
We don't have a second.
Like I said. We are going to take a flyer because we do need a receiver. Local kid from
Mount Union, Muck.
Jasper Collins.
Hey, 2 receivers came out of there in the last 4 years. Why not take a gamble?
They've all been good. And then something, you start talking about undrafted free agents. I think we need another fullback on the roster that's actually decent because Marasic sucks.
Yep.
Zach Bourne, Ohio State. How about that for a signing, people?
He can hit, that's for sure. And then that brings us to the kicker we just signed, who's probably going to start. Shane Graham.
Obviously.
Shane Graham.
Yep.
He's the most consistent kicker ever from 50 yards in. But that's a problem with Cleveland because we're always kicking from 50 yards out.
But, I mean, the thing is, we're obviously not going to draft a kicker this year, but Dawson was with us for like ever.
If you're 50 and he's solid, I mean,
Yeah.
he's money.
I mean, Graham's 34. He's probably got a couple years in him. He signed a 1-year deal. Next year, I think he draft a kicker. Start over again.
And he's used to kicking in Ohio, so.
Kicking and shit.
Yeah. So we're looking forward to see what's going on Thursday night at 8 o'clock. We'll be keeping our eyes peeled, and then we'll be back.
We'll be back on
Saturday or Sunday,
and we'll give a recap of everything that took place. You want to keep up on it, hit us up. You'll know what's going on. We'll keep you informed. And as for that,
go Brownies!
Enjoy the draft. Go Browns. We're out.